The Brexit Irish Tech Solution. In my last few videos, I talked in detail about the Irish backstop itself, Irish reunification and checks away from the border, as well as all potential solutions to avoiding a hard border on the island of Ireland as a result of the UK leaving the European Union. But today, I want to go deep into a technological solution. Even if you disagree with me, consider subscribing by the end of the video. A technological solution is also called a maximum facilitation solution, or Max Fac for short. In my last video, I explained how the technology could mean physical infrastructure at the border, which would defy the clause in the Good Friday Agreement not allowing security stations. But it might be possible not to have the infrastructure. Cameras that can read number plates, or ANPR cameras, do exist. The UK already uses ANPR cameras to detect criminal activity such as a stolen car. London even uses them in its congestion charge zones. Norway, which is not an EU member, has a border with Sweden. Norway is part of the single market, but not part of the customs union. Therefore, Norway has to have customs checks on its border. Through the use of technology, the average waiting time at its border is about 8 minutes, one of the smoothest hard borders in the world. They use a combination of ANPRs, X-ray machines, and pre-clearance IT systems to declare the goods before crossing the border, and a sophisticated communications network so the border force can police efficiently across the border. It's a border that still involves paperwork, but the advanced communication gave officers the chance to thwart an effort to avoid tariff avoidance when, instead of Chinese garlic going straight to Sweden and paying EU tariffs, it first was sent to Norway and labelled Norwegian to be sent on to Sweden in an attempt to trade it cheaper. Due to the advanced communication technology, officers could then discover where and when it came into Norway and therefore thwarted the tariff avoidance. There are other technologies available to border agencies too, such as weigh in motion, which detects the vehicle's weight as it goes past. Radar and laser technology can measure the shape of the vehicle to classify the vehicle type as well. The government, though, is committed to having no new cameras at the border. The EU has a way of proving how trustworthy a trading company is in what's called a trusted trader scheme. One of the EU's trusted trader schemes is called the Authorised Economic Operator. Being an Authorised Economic Operator, or AEO, does not leave you exempt from declaring customs goods at the border. But it might be able to get you some form of pre-clearance away from the border though. For example, an AEO might be able to fill in a form or app online and then be granted access across the border. But either way, what's inside those lorries still needs to be declared. An AEO solution doesn't solve issues of sanitation involved in importing and exporting food and pharmaceuticals. For example, the EU would need to inspect chickens to ensure they met EU food safety standards. Another suggestion is to have business inspections rather than border inspections. The EU has already dismissed this suggestion as unreliable. Being an authorised economic operator is also expensive, but all of these solutions may reduce the time for crossing the border, but do not replace the need for a border itself. But as I mentioned before, the border in Ireland doesn't have to be on the land. It could be either in the Irish Sea or the Celtic Sea. The time it takes for a lorry to wait for a ferry, for example, could be used to hand over paperwork. A Max Fac solution to Brexit would take a great deal of time to implement though, time which the government doesn't have. In fact, the government speculated it would not be ready until at least 2023. You need to know what the future trade relationship with the EU will be like after Brexit to know what customs checks have to be imposed, to know what technologies you're going to need. And we won't even begin negotiating that until after the withdrawal agreement is agreed on the 29th of March 2019. So as a comprehensive solution to the Irish backstop, which is one of the reasons why the withdrawal agreement has been rejected by Parliament, then technology seems unlikely. But as a solution going forward, then we might see the implementation of technology in the future. But do you agree with me? Join in the debate below and subscribe.